Why is my mic all lopsided like this? Candy apples.
Sloppy and loppy.
Candy apples, Twix, Snickers, M&M's, Mars bars. Right now's the time to get your candy on because it's almost Halloween. It is almost Halloween. Jessica.
What's happening?
I gotta ask you right off the bat. Halloween is a time of year we should all be celebrating weirdness. And if anybody knows a thing or two about weird, what's your catchphrase?
Let's get weird.
Let's get weird.
Let's get weird.
So tonight, we're going to get weird. We're going to be talking about meeting people in social settings. And the reason why we're going to be talking about this is because tomorrow is Halloween. And a lot of you guys are going to be going to Halloween parties or celebrating in some form or fashion. Now, I know a few people did this over the weekend. I kind of did a little bit, but I haven't dressed up in Halloween for a few years, mainly because it's always so busy because we're always shooting on the weekend. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a thing. Talk to me about your Halloween experience because I love Halloween, number one.
I'm hit or miss with Halloween.
Why is that?
Because
I'm hearing a tone of bad experience.
No, it's not a bad experience. It's just I'm either working, I don't feel like spending a lot of time, money, and energy on a costume, or like I only really care if I'm invited to something cool, like a party or something where I actually am obligated to dress up. Then I'll get into it. But otherwise, I just like to hang out at home and I don't know. Only if I have a party to go to. Otherwise, it's hit or miss for me.
Yeah, I'm a big Halloween fan. Though it's funny because I got invited to like 3 parties this year, but I was here, and then I decided to do none of them. I decided to go hang out with Johnny in Little Tokyo.
This is last year or Saturday?
Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up hanging out with Johnny. Josh was supposed to come. Jezzer was talking about ghosting. Jezzer ghosted me because he was supposed to come, but he did not show up.
That's okay, Jezzer.
Talk to me about your best Halloween costume.
Ooh. I am proud of the Harley Quinn one.
Oh, that was a good one.
When I didn't wear the wig. What was another good one? No, I'm okay. Thank you, though. I don't really know. I haven't been super proud of any of them in a while.
Can we talk about your Harley Quinn story with Stan Lee? That was Halloween.
Yeah, that was Halloween. So we go to, which convention was it?
Kamikaze at the time, LA Comic-Con now.
Okay, it was Kamikaze in 2015. And I was like, oh, I'm going to dress up. I did the Harley Quinn thing, ordered a really bad wig off Amazon. Note to self, don't do that. And actually, I only ordered a wig because I knew you'd be like, oh my gosh, Jess, she's blonde. You didn't get a wig? That's literally what went through my mind.
But you're blonde.
I digress. Well, you know, she's like white hair. So anyways, we go to this convention, and I'm doing the interviews, whatever. And then we meet Stan Lee. We take a picture with him.
Me, you, and Daniel.
Daniel. I do too. I wish we could bring it up, actually. It's really funny. And then later on in the evening, totally separate event, I go to the SLS with a friend of mine who invited me to go to like some like Halloween event. I walk in, I'm still dressed in my costume because I assume it's Halloween. We should all be in costume. No, it's a black and white tie, or what it's called.
Yeah.
Black and white affair. Everybody is dressed to the nines.
Affair, yeah.
Black tie affair. Everybody is dressed to the nines except me. I'm in sequin booty shorts, white face, a homemade shirt, and my jacket.
But the costume was really accurate to the movie.
It was really accurate. I am proud of that, especially the
like
jacket.
Even your heels were like...
Yeah, I got the real heels.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yep, wholesale from China. Thank you, Ally Express. And so I get there, and my friend who invited me to the SLS hotel in Beverly Hills, that should have been a dead giveaway. Long story short, she was connected, and I was also working for a charity company at the time, so we were going to interview a few people there. Turns out Stan Lee went from the convention we were at to the SLS hotel for this event, and I got to see him there as well. He didn't remember me. He's not a fan of DC characters anyway, so that was my humiliating story. Stan Lee was there, and I think I said hi, and I think I apologized for what I was wearing, and he just didn't care. He just didn't care.
Well, even when we went to go take a picture with him, he just had no reaction. I almost felt like that was a mannequin.
Probably it was a wax figure they just brought in.
And it was like, thank you so much for everything you've done.
It's a Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's. It was like Weekend at Bernie's, wasn't it?
It really was.
Right? Like they just propped him up. No, Toku, it wasn't just me and Johnny. It was Corey and a bunch of Johnny's friends because there was a birthday party we went to on Saturday. That was a good story, mainly because I think that, were you more embarrassed that you were wearing that costume in front of Stan Lee, or more embarrassed you were wearing that costume to a black tie affair?
Black tie affair.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, there was like a lot of executives, and because they were promoting some movie that they had produced in. It was like Stan Lee's, one of his movies that he produced either in China or Japan. I can't remember which one. So it was all those executives coming together and like celebrating and blah blah blah. And so I was just embarrassed because I was extremely underdressed. So
that's a great story.
You know.
Talking about meeting people in social settings. First of all, I want to say thank you guys so much for joining us in the chat. We already see that you guys are active. We were just on Instagram Live getting you guys to come in. Matthew Thompson, we see you. Jezzer,
Matthew.
Toku Kid, Layla, who teased us a little bit.
She got me.
Saying that she had a new boyfriend, which is a stuffed monkey.
Yeah.
That
But
she
it's
won at
pink.
a fair.
But it's pink.
It is.
Yeah.
Ryan, thank you guys all so much for joining us. We have the super chat feature, so if you want to chime in on the show and you want to make sure you're heard, let us know with that super chat feature. Help support the show. Also, we have the live call-in feature, so you guys already know how to use that.
Please call in today.
Yes, and we're going to be talking about meeting people in social settings, but we're also going to be talking about just social settings in general and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. And what I don't want to be too preachy here because to each their own. But I also don't want to give anybody the wrong advice because I feel like there's a lot of that can come through. What up, Sammy? Sammy K. She's on Instagram. Sammy, how are you? It's good to see you. She is. I'm curious if you're in Canada right now. But yeah, let's talk. Let's chat this up. Let's start this conversation off. So
yeah.
Right now, oh boy, you got a good one in here. Jordan's in here too.
Hey, Jordan. Hi, boo.
All right, so I want to talk about social settings. Now, let's just, for the sake of social settings, let's just use a convention, as we were just talking about.
Perfect. We could do that
for a place. I'm gonna throw out a lot of scenarios tonight.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna give me you're gonna give everybody kind of your advice, and we're gonna chat about each thing. So. Perfect. She is in Canada.
I'm excited about this topic. Oh, she is in Canada?
Yeah.
What up, Sammy? I'm excited about this topic. At first, when you said this last week, I was a little intimidated because I'm like, I kind of feel like, did we already go through most of it when we were talking about, like, how to, like, the pickup lines? Remember?
Kind of, yeah.
So I was like, ooh, is this going to be a little redundant? But then after thinking about it, this is a really important one because a lot of the times, at least in my experience when I really met somebody, it was in social settings or mutual friends. That's a really good way to meet people too. So if you're in a setting where you are surrounded by a lot of people and your friends, it is a good place to meet somebody.
I actually do have a question before we jump into the social setting atmosphere.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a time where you saw somebody in a social setting and you may have wanted to talk to them but couldn't muster up the courage and you didn't, and then you realized, damn it, I should have said something?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, there has been. I mean, I can't, there's no specific person that, like, got away, but there's been plenty of times where I was too nervous or I didn't think that they would like me back, or they were too up here and I was down here. I just felt inferior and a little not inconfident.
What did you learn from not saying that? I mean, not saying anything to them.
I learned that, first of all, that's stupid because you're worth it no matter what. Like, your worth isn't determined by whatever other people think. And for a while, I was always basing my worth off of the opinions of others. I thought, if other people like me, then that means I'm doing something right and I'm a good person, or they like being around me, blah, blah, blah. But that's not how confidence works. So I learned to be more confident in myself from myself. And also the worst thing people can say is no. And so they don't like you, they don't like you.
It's not the worst thing people can say. But
right, but
it's probably the worst answer you can expect to hear.
Sure.
I do think, though, that the one thing that I kind of learned with the same scenario is that not only is the worst thing that they can say is no, I guess, to an extent, but you probably never going to see that person again, so it's not going to matter that much.
Yeah.
And I think that we dwell on our defeats more than we relish in our successes. And I think that our defeats are the things that actually build character the most.
Yes.
And make you learn the most. But
agreed.
Let's get into the topic at hand. Let's say you're at a convention, and I know you have a list, and we're going to go over these things in the list.
Yeah, these are just little bullets.
So let's say we're at a convention, right? Mm-hmm. That's a geek social setting.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things to take into consideration right off the bat. Number one, it's a family, for the most part, family atmosphere.
Yeah.
Number two, most people are there because of their fandoms and not looking to hook up with people. So that's a different approach for the most part.
Okay. To counter that, though, you're all there because you have similar interests, which
absolutely
does weed out the people who don't like the same things you do, and that's a big part of somebody's lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So, good place. I think it's a good place. But go on.
No. So if you're going to do an approach to meeting somebody in this atmosphere, what are some of the do's and don'ts at a convention, like a comic convention?
I think the don'ts are kind of what we talked about before. When you go up and give a compliment, if somebody's like, let's say they're cosplaying, I would not compliment strictly on their figure. You look great in that outfit, or I love your figure, or you wear that really well. I would not do anything that's kind of aggressive about what they look like. Obviously, you find somebody attractive if you're going up to them and wanting to start a conversation, or if that's what your intentions are. So again, I would start with do you want to compliment them? That's fine. Compliment them like we talked about on the costume that they made. That's so cool. Did you make that yourself? Oh my gosh, where did you get that material? I've been trying to make one like that too. Blah blah blah. So I say compliment on.
Well, if a opposite sex person is trying to make the same cosplay, that's a little. I mean, I guess depending on what it is.
Listen, Joe, it's 2018.
It is.
I'm just trying to keep it real. Another don't would be maybe being too aggressive, because a lot of, like you said, it is a family event, so a lot of people are there just to enjoy themselves and to kind of let loose and relax. It's not really a hookup atmosphere per se, but it is a good place to meet people and network and meet friends and hang out with family and friends. So I would just say don't be too aggressive. If somebody seems like they want to maybe continue the conversation, but they actually would rather look around for a little bit first, let them do that. Give them your number. Hey, let me know if you want to grab lunch later.
Well, that's actually, hold that thought for 1 second. Give them your number. What's the best way to ask? Is it like follow somebody on Instagram? Or like what, in this day and age, if you meet somebody at a convention, what's the best way to exchange information, do you think?
There's no wrong way. If you want to connect on Instagram first, that's fine. But I think asking for my number lets me know right away what you want from me. And I like that better. It's a
clear message then.
It's a clear message. Instagram means we could be friends, we might stay in touch, we could meet up at the next convention. A number means I'm interested in you, I want to see you again, do you mind if I have that direct contact? So I say number. If you're comfortable with that, do number. What do you think? What are you comfortable with?
Instagram.
See, that's the back door I'm talking about, though, right?
But the only reason I say Instagram, it's because you don't know what you're dealing with, they don't know what they're dealing with.
Oh, you want to stalk them first to see what
yeah,
you're going to...
exactly, a little bit. That's the way to get more information without having to, like, really dive deep, I feel like.
Or do both. Be like, hey, can I get your number?
And your Instagram?
I don't know.
I would say Instagram is a safer bet for me. If you're...
Look them up, Look them up when they give you their first and last name.
Then
you.
And then just cyber
How do you spell your last name? Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, I like Instagram, too, because it kind of leaves that kind of... anonymity of just being invisible, but also just laying out the land.
Voyeur.
Well, kind of, but like more so of like just figuring out, okay, like let's be honest. We've all looked at other people's Instagram, be like, hey, like who's in the picture with this person? Who's like, does it seem like they're single? Are they into the same kind of stuff? You know, do they like doing
To be fair,
what I
yes,
do?
you can tell a lot about somebody's social media and what they're willing to share and what. Yeah. You
Yeah.
can get a vibe. It's a vibe. You can get a vibe.
I like the Instagram approach, and it keeps it also kind of... The only downside is if your Instagram kind of sucks, then they're not going to be...
Yeah, that's the other thing. Some people aren't... They're great people. They just don't care to be on
Instagram, yeah. I mean, look, it takes me, like, a lot just to run my own Instagram because I don't, like... It's just so, like... I always thought Instagram was so bizarre. I still do think Twitter is. Because Twitter is, it's everybody that I run into in a business atmosphere doing this stuff, it's very much like, oh no, you have to be on Twitter.
Yeah.
Everybody's on Twitter. It's
I know,
like, oh,
that
man.
is true.
So,
Even like the celebrities who don't have Instagram and stuff, they're all on Twitter as well, because at least you can see what they're thinking or promote things.
But let's talk about what to do in the approach in terms of like, just kind of like things that you would normally do, like eye contact or hygiene. Like, just what are some of the basics?
You took my list. I'm just
Well, I knew hygiene should be on everybody's
No,
list.
hygiene
That's
is number one. I think the first start to any interaction for me is I appreciate eye contact. Not just once, because you could just be scamming the room looking for the bathroom. But if you continuously lock eyes, give them a smile, that lets that person know, hey, I'm interested. And then you can tell by their reaction if they're also interested. If you look at somebody for the second time, you make eye contact and you smile and they look away or they turn their body, maybe they're not that into you. Or maybe they don't want to talk to you. But if they kind of reciprocate the eye contact and the smile, I think to me that's a dead giveaway. Like, I'm interested in at least having a conversation. And then from there, if you're at a bar, you can buy him a drink. Or from there, you can go up and start a conversation or say hi. But if they're in a group, you have to approach the group and say hi to all the girls or men.
I feel like that's more intimidating for people is to approach a group.
That is terrifying.
Yeah,
that is utterly terrifying. In fact, I don't even know if I've approached a group of guys trying to pinpoint the one that I either wait till he's by himself or I'll just...
Is it worse if he's with, like, a group of girls?
Well, yeah, because it's both. If it's with women, one of them is bound to like him, or I don't know if they like him or if they're dating, so I don't want to... That's more intimidating, because that could mean he could be taken. But if it's a bunch of guys, that's also intimidating, even though I know they wouldn't care, and they'd be like, dude, that's so awesome. It's still intimidating. Because then it's not just rejection from one person. Everybody's looking at you, doing the walk of shame if they do reject you.
There was so we were at a party, speaking of a convention, this is another Jezzer story, so I'm just going to... He's already saying that, I got a story of me approaching 2 girls.
Yes.
I was there when this happened. It was an after party for, I believe, Anime Expo, I think. We were all drinking. First of all, Jezzer went from 0 to 100 in about 10 minutes.
Love it.
He started a dance circle, almost got me into a fight, and started doing the worm, and then almost ripped his pants in the dance circle, and then he took somebody's lightsaber, started like stroking it, and the guy was like, no, give it back. And then like we were finally outside. Oh, not that story. Sorry, Jessica. And then we were finally outside. One of the biggest baller moves I've ever seen in my life. Jesser got one girl's number and then 10 feet away got another girl's number.
Baller, yes.
It was hilarious.
Right? No.
Do
not do that, Jesser.
It was hilarious, though.
Nothing makes a woman or a person feel more insignificant than when you get a number 10 feet away.
Hey, Blackwing has a really good question. Is there a thing about being too friendly?
Is there a thing about being too friendly? Like too flirty, or you just want to be friends with them and you come off too friendly?
Or I think it might be you're attracted to them, but you come off too friendly and you friends on yourself.
Ooh.
Which is kind of like what you were saying about getting a number instead of an Instagram, because it's a definite, like, you know what the intention is.
Right. Blackwing, if you can clarify what exactly you mean, that would be awesome, because I don't want to go on a tangent about something that you weren't really asking.
Yes.
But in general, I don't think friendliness is an issue. I've never been like, ooh, he's too friendly. Some people use that as a code for, like, too handsy or too aggressive. Like, ooh, he's too friendly. Yeah, like, he's super friendly, like,
oh, like
touchy.
Huggers?
Yeah, touchy, or, like, grab the small of your back while they're talking.
I don't like huggers. I don't like hugging people I don't know. I think it's so weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel
Somebody that used to work with us.
It's the norm, I feel
would
like.
come up to me and they like hug. I was like, whoa, shake my hand. Don't hug me. I don't know you. Yeah.
You're not a touchy-feely person?
With people that I know, but like for the people that I know, but if you don't know me, I think it's kind of weird.
So if a girl's at a bar and she's approaching you and you're into her and she like strokes your arm or like
no, that's different. That's different.
Oh.
If it's aggressively like
bye.
yeah, like or you know, like when you meet somebody and they automatically like cling to your arm, it's like I don't like that, because it's kind of like get away. Not get away, but
we're not there yet.
Don't touch me.
We just met.
We're not there yet.
Hey,
exactly.
don't touch me.
We're not there yet. No, he means just being as a friend. Is there a such thing as being too friendly? Just as a friend.
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I don't think so. As long as you have clear boundaries, meaning if that person let you know, like, hey, we're just friends, right? And you agree, yes, we're just friends, then I would just do things that friends would do. I wouldn't, invite myself over at 11 p.m. or... No, I don't think
It's a very strange scenario.
I'm just trying to think of a time where I've ever thought that somebody was too friendly. I don't think so. I think too aggressive. I think that's a thing, but I don't think too friendly.
Too aggressive.
You're a nice guy, Jonathan. I wouldn't worry about that.
All right, so let's move on to this. Let's say Halloween party, because right now we're in the spirit of Halloween.
Right.
A lot of people are going to be going to parties. I want to talk about, like, first of all, costumes.
Okay.
And you kind of touched on that with cosplay.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very similar scenarios here. With a Halloween party, chat me up about some of the things you do and don't do. Not you personally, but in general. What are some of the things you would do and don't do in when it comes to this finding your quest?
Things I would do and don't do, or things I prefer people do and don't do?
Either.
Okay. Again, I think too aggressive is kind of like you have to find this like little balance, but this little dance between showing interest but not being too aggressive and creepy, because it comes across really strong sometimes. So if I was at a Halloween party, I would want somebody to smile, be themselves if they were interested. Obviously, let's just say I'm single, so if I was at a Halloween party, yeah, eye contact. I would let you know. I would give you the eyes. That's what it's called, giving you the eyes. Not googly eyes, just like, ooh, we made eye contact for the third time. I'm smiling. I want you to come over and talk to me, or I'm interested in, talking to you, going over there. I think it's a good thing to ask if they want another drink, whether it's punch or alcohol, whatever you want.
Cocaine.
Nope, not cocaine.
You were going to say
not doing that. Nah. Nay. Only one type of Coke I do. Diet. That's on
speed.
a t-shirt. What'd you say?
That's speed, right?
Dang it, that was code. I don't know, what else? Yeah, again, if you compliment me on my costume, compliment me on the costume and not what you think is under it. Or at least phrase it in a way that doesn't make me feel that you're complimenting me on what's under it. Maybe introducing me to your friends. That's a good one, too. It's like, hey, dude,
Now
this
we
is
started
blah, blah,
a
blah,
thing.
blah. Huh?
We got a super chat from Larry.
Okay.
He says, I'll hug you, Joe.
Oh, what up, Larry?
Larry can. I know Larry.
Larry Bear.
Just people that I don't know that would come up and, like, hug me. It's not, like, the worst thing. I'm not, like...
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, because it's, like, it's personal space, I feel like. I'm a big fan.
I feel like it's a handshake.
I'm a big fan. I handshake with everybody. Who was it that would always try to hug me from here? And they're just like, oh, it's Tony, I think, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, no, shake my fucking hand like a human
Hey,
being.
yo, Tony, stop touching me, mate.
So, yeah, it's just like I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, okay. It's a personal boundary you don't like to be crossed. Actually, you chat me up because I feel like I haven't approached a group of men in a long time, if ever. Like I said, usually I get them when they're by themselves. I'm a creeper. I just thought of that. I'm a creeper. I wait till they're either by themselves or I use the back door and would hit them up on like Instagram or slide into their DMs.
So
Am I a creeper?
If you just take that sentence out of context, that's going to sound terrible.
Am I a creeper?
No. Yes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
there's
That's
my
you.
stock info.
We're going to
Hey.
replace her face with yours in the next picture, I think.
That's fine.
No, I don't think you're a creeper, but it's called strategy, I think.
Okay, that's a
It's
great
called,
word.
It's called...
I'm selling myself short.
It's called strategic socializing, I'll call it. Strategic socializing is picking your moment at the right spot.
Yeah.
A lot of people say you got to be at the right place at the right time, but half of that's true. You got to know when the right time is to pick your spot.
Right.
I think the other half falls into a thing you can't predict, which is going to be somebody else's reaction. Right place, right time really means picking your spot.
Yep.
I think that's exactly what everybody should do. Because, look, have you ever had a situation... Oh, you talked about this. I don't know if you talked about this off the screen, but you talked about working in a restaurant and people, like, approaching, like, celebrities that would come in, right? Just to not make them uncomfortable, if you did it when they're in the middle of a conversation at dinner...
Yeah.
That's not the most ideal time that they're going to give you the most respectful answer.
Correct.
So picking your spot means either wait till they're finished, wait till they're
in the parking lot
where they're not doing something that looks like they're there specifically to do. I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's how that kind of works.
It's called reading the room. Read the room.
LOL. Larry says, "I'll hug you too, Jess, aka Red Cosmic Ranger with the panda."
Ooh.
But no, picking spots, I think that's a strategic thing, and I think everybody kind of should do that. Like, another one, too, is, like, you never want to get a girl's number, or anybody's number, to be honest with you, when they're intoxicated. Because I feel that, or, look. Or you never want to, like, really try to push your limits with somebody that's intoxicated.
Agreed. But getting their number, I think, is different than trying to hang out after.
And then you get you text in the morning, and they're like, who is this? And I'm like, yeah,
no,
right.
New phone, who dis?
Yeah, new phone, who dis? So there's always, like, different scenarios depending on what you're doing. I think that You just got to pick your spots. But
Yeah,
on
I
to...
think part of reading the room too is if you do, let's say you do muster up the confidence, get rid of that. They call it approach anxiety, which I understand. It is very stressful to try to go up, lay yourself out there to a group of men or women, and then wait for a response. I understand how scary that is. So, like Joe said, maybe wait till they're in line for the bathroom, or maybe wait till they're at the punch bowl. You can do that, or
What parties do you go to where there's punch bowls? I'm just really curious.
I feel
about
like
this.
all Halloween parties have punch bowls with the sherbet in it. It's like the Hawaiian punch with sherbet.
That's why elementary Halloween school parties were.
I haven't been to a lot of parties lately. Okay,
That's
Give me a
hilarious.
break.
Punch bowl with
Fine,
sherbet.
the cooler getting a beer.
The
Or a
keg. We can just
soda.
say the keg, the punch bowl.
Or the keg. I like the punch bowl.
I love that.
But the other part of that is, like, in terms of reading the room, is if you do decide to talk to them, whether they're in a group or not, read their body language. You can tell when people are genuinely interested in talking to you, or if they're like, ooh,
Yeah.
no, I really don't. If they're no longer really making eye contact, if they start, like, body language, if they start to turn themselves, or like, yeah, all right, if they do one of those, like, just, if you feel like you're important to them, keep talking. If you kind of feel like they could take you or leave you, bye.
Oh,
You deserve to be where you're celebrating.
I love this question that Jezzer asks.
Okay.
Is it okay to bring a wingman to split up a group?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called strategic socializing.
Bring a wingman. That's fine. It's scary enough. If
Look.
you need to bring somebody to take care of the other ones, that's I have no problem with the wingman.
Insight. Let me
No
give you a little
judgment.
insight on this. So,
No judgment.
I used to go to bars a lot with Daniel and various other people, and everybody would have their role for the night. We all kind of knew what we were doing, and I very clearly, sometimes you got to fall on grenades. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you got to take
Sure.
one for a team. And I think that it's strategic socializing. So, in a group of people, whether it's male or female, there's always the mama bear, which is the one that's, if you win that one person over,
Yeah.
then it's easier to get to whoever you need to get
You're
to.
saying there's always a leader in a group of girls. There's always
There's always a
somebody-
leader in a group
ringleader.
of anybody.
Okay, men or
So
women.
if you're able to get the approval of that person, it's gonna be, because usually, at least from my experience, when you would go to like a bar or something, and you'd want to talk to one specific person in the group, but that wasn't the mama bear. Mama bear would always bring that one person back. No, come with us. We're gonna do like whatever. But if you win
like
that,
trying to save her or something.
right? So if you like, it's like, oh hey, blah blah blah, and like what I would do is I would offer like most of them drinks, but hey, I'm gonna go get a round of drinks. You guys want anything? And then win them over immediately.
Very smart.
Then you get the friend's approval, and then after that, it makes it just a little bit easier.
And it shows that you're not a dick. Like, if you can walk up and, like, that was one of the things that's on my list. If you acknowledge the group, because if you just come up and you pinpoint one girl, it's like, okay, great, hey, you're just, like, barging in. But if you're like, hey, guys, if you do get the courage to do that, which I highly suggest, and you're like, hey, guys, what's up? Like, blah, blah, blah. Can I get you guys a round of drinks? I'm going up anyways. Or, I mean, how do you approach a group? Let's say, wingman or not, you see a group, in your case, women, at the bar.
So what
you wanna talk to them.
I
What
don't
do you
go
do?
out as much as I used to anymore. I actually don't really go that. I don't do the bar scene.
I know I have to rack my
much.
brain too, but
when I did, what I would do normally is I would always sit outside, and I would find out who I was going to sit with depending on who I was attracted to, and then I would be like, oh, is anybody sitting like next to you? And then I'd get like a spot kind of for myself, and then kind of
at the bar.
no, like outside of like the patio area.
Oh, okay,
and then
okay.
I would strategically place our group of friends next to their group of friends, so automatically
There's gonna be
since
some
There's
overlap.
going to be some overlap.
Yeah.
So you automatically, whether it's me that starts the engagement of talking or somebody else,
Yeah.
it's going to happen. But my strategy was always to make sure it's close enough where one of my friends or one of their friends would just start it.
Yeah.
Or, hey, can you, like this always works.
Would the wingman start it for you?
No. So the way that it always worked out for me, or at least I always strategized it like this, was that you always, whenever you go out, somebody always wants to take pictures, right? So it'd be like, oh, hey, like,
Brilliant.
yeah, so they'd be
Yeah.
like, can you take our picture? Yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, I'd take the picture, I'd make some fun jokes,
Yeah.
blah, 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 and then give them back their phone and be like, oh, you guys are great. And then the conversation's
Yeah.
already started.
Or
Ice
you
is
could be
already
like,
broken.
feel free to take a selfie, and it's like,
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Ice is already broken.
Sure.
That way you don't have to worry. There is this one time, though.
So take a picture. That's a good one.
There is this one time, though. This was out here in Hermosa Beach. It was me and a bunch of my friends. And this girl asked me to take a picture, and I said, "Sure."
You're like,
She's very
classic.
attractive, and I was like, "This is easy." So I did it, and this part was by accident. I did it, but it worked out in my favor. But I did it. I took the picture, handed her phone back, and dropped it by accident. her screen shattered.
No.
I felt like an idiot, but I was super apologetic about it, and I said, "Listen, here's my number. Just give me your number, and then I'll get it fixed for you tomorrow. I promise you." Legit, she lives up the street here, actually.
Stop.
Legit picked her up.
Took her to a Genius bar.
Took her to a Genius bar, got her phone fixed, and then we went to dinner, and the rest was history.
Wow.
But it worked out in my favor. But it's not a bad idea just to get that
So smash the phone.
Smash the phone.
That's what we're saying.
Who says I really accidentally dropped it? No, I did, though, but it just slipped out of my hand.
You know what's annoying about that story is that only you would make that work.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, maybe I'm just talking about myself, but like if I did that, I would be super awkward and say sorry, and then I would just like scurry away in a wave of embarrassment. But you actually used that to your favor and made a date out of the worst situation that could have happened in that moment.
It was bad, but it worked. It did work.
It did work, and good for you.
Josh calls me. What's the character? Dexter? No.
No, wait.
The animated. What's the character? Archer. I've never seen Archer.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means. But I think that there's also certain things like just strategically placing yourself always works out the best. But we do have a phone call.
Okay, yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. I like this subject.
I love phone calls too.
Bring it. Who we got on the line?
Who's our lucky?
I can hear somebody. You hear that?
Oh, Blackwing in the house.
Blackwing, bro.
What's up?
No glasses today.
Yeah, cause the play that I'm in, they wanted me to wear my contacts, so I've been wearing my contacts for like the past, I could say, half a week lately.
Cool. Sweet.
Larry, he has another super chat. He says Joe loves it when his plan comes together.
Oh,
True story.
jeez, Larry, true story. And his plan usually always does come together, and that's the frustrating
Yeah,
part.
didn't you go to Angel Grove prom? Boom. I was just talking about how stressful that was, by the way. So, talk to me, Jonathan. What's going on, buddy?
Okay, basically, I could say I'm not someone that's, that likes to approach people. I like mostly let things, come to me naturally. So
Wrong approach.
I just, yeah, I feel like I'm socially awkward, but I'm not. It's just, I barely get out much. Like, the only time I really leave my house is like either I'm going to class or work, or like if I'm volunteering somewhere else, I'm going to church and something. That I don't leave my house for like anything. So when it comes to like meeting people in social settings, that's not me. Like,
well, real quick question, and keep it 100 with me. Is the reason why you're not wearing glasses is because you don't want to look like a young Daniel?
No, I'm wearing contacts because I have to. Like really, the glasses will not like fit well on my.
I like the contacts better. You don't look like young Daniel, which gives you hope.
Jonathan, you look great either way.
I just like the contacts. They look.
They do look good. They do look good. Yeah.
What I'm saying, all right. So you said that you're kind of socially awkward. You said.
Well, you're a homebody.
Like I am, but I'm not. But I let people come to me. Like if like say like there's a group that that are like I haven't met yet. I'll just walk into them and say like, hey, my name is Jonathan. What's yours? And we'll just let the conversation flow naturally, gradually. And I may just start asking something. So like, what are your interests? Or like, what are you into? That's how we'll start a conversation.
So, I see where you're coming from, and being a homebody. I mean, you're an introvert essentially is what it comes down to. That's right. Like,
well, and I have a question: are you a homebody? Because I'm very similar to you. So, are you a homebody because you genuinely like your time alone and you have things to do, or is it because socially there's just not a lot to do in groups? Like, would you enjoy going out, or is it more? Do you enjoy staying home?
Like it's more like I enjoy staying home. Like if I don't go out unless I'm invited, that's it.
Okay, gotcha. So you won't make the plans.
If you're not going out, you're what? What do you say?
He doesn't go out unless he's invited.
Oh, invited.
So you're not the ringleader. You're like not, you're not the one that's saying, let's go out. It's an opportunity or it's home.
I'm the ringleader.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm kind of similar. I'm an opportunist as well when it comes to socializing.
I'm a ringleader.
You're the ringleader, yeah. But you and I are very different. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think if you do want to get out more, there's nothing wrong with just hitting up some friends and being like, hey, what are you guys up to tonight? If that is something that you want. But you can still meet people being an introvert and being a homebody. There's ways to do that. Like you said, whether it's at school, when you're in class, I'm sure you guys are going to have group projects at some point. Or you said you're in a play, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you meet people in the play. That's probably you guys probably spend a lot of time together between rehearsals and then.
Oh, yeah, we sure do.
Yeah, so that is still a group setting. Obviously, it's more intimate because you know them, but I mean, that's still considered a group. So things like that, just don't be afraid to go up to those people, even if it is somebody that you're working with or somebody that you're in class with or acting with.
And it also depends on how close you are, too. Because, like, I feel like we are always in a group setting with everybody here. And like and a lot of us go out, and it's like going out. It's, you know what it's honestly like going out with everybody, like going out with your family. It's the strangest, like it's like going out
Yeah,
with friends,
like all of us have a platonic relationship to a T. So
it's like going out with your brothers and sisters and just like cutting loose.
Yeah. But that's fun to do, and that's when you have the best wingmen or wingwomen with you.
It's people that I think, honestly, my advice to you is everything that you had said right now is nothing you had said wrong.
Right.
Everything that you're saying right now is just that's a personality trait thing, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. Like you're gonna want to go out eventually when you want to go out, and you're gonna have your group of friends to go out with. I would say this though, my only I don't want to say advice, but critique would be. Sometimes sometimes you don't want to just let things come to you. Sometimes you do want to be the one that makes things happen, because like Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you never take. Well, hockey, so.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. I think though that sometimes you don't want to pass up opportunities, and like her and I have been saying from the beginning of this episode, is that the worst you can really hear is the word no. I mean, for real, like seriously.
Yeah.
But even so, like sometimes though, and this isn't just romantically, sometimes you want to approach people just because you think they're cool people and that you have something in common. Like that happened. Like honestly, I probably would have never. Well, Josh, I worked with, and I met you because I was in casting, which means I had to be social.
Yeah.
But like him, like Daniel Nagami, had I not known that we had certain things in common, we probably would have never hung out. So like just breaking the ice with people just as friends can sometimes be difficult, but it's also a good learning experience as well.
It is, and it gets easier every time you do it. Even if let's say you're at Starbucks and you order a coffee and you talk to the person behind you in line, things like that. You can meet people anywhere, even if you are an introvert and you genuinely don't like going out. There's still plenty of opportunity. But like Joe says, it's kind of nice to step out of your comfort zone sometimes too and challenge yourself, because then it's a huge learning experience.
And it's also nice when your friends get to see you cut loose, because it's like seeing a different side.
Yeah.
And that's when
that happens to me sometimes.
that's when the best stories kind of come out. One of these days we'll get Jessica talking about a pirate someday.
Oh, one day.
One day I'll tell you guys about the story I slept underneath a car. But one of these days we're gonna tell all these stories when we get there. But
we'll get there.
It's a lot of fun. But yeah, man, thank you so much for calling in, and we appreciate your support. Thanks so much, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan.
No problem.
Take care, brother. I love that call in, because I love the fact that like we're talking about social settings, how to talk to people, and something we hadn't really approached really is somebody that's really not into social settings.
Yeah.
Like how do you talk to people then? Or that wasn't his question, obviously.
Right.
But how do you talk to people then? And I think sometimes you got to put yourself out there.
You have to put yourself out there, and what we're talking about can apply to people by themselves as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of these strategies. Do you consider like dating apps? Not a group setting, but do you consider that the same thing as trying to approach somebody, or is that totally different?
I'll be honest with you. I think that I'm a generation ahead of dating apps. Like I feel like I'm still very foreign to it.
Yeah.
So it's very still pretty new to me, and also I honestly think there's more anxiety going on a dating app date than there is going on a date with somebody you've already met. Like at a bar or something like that.
Because you've got each other's essence, their energy, their feel for them, and they still want to see you again. But like you said, if it's going to be a dating app meeting, it's almost like a blind date.
Yeah. You
don't know what you're getting into. How old was that picture? What do you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's also, that's exactly it. And also, I think it's, man, have you ever been on a blind date before dating apps at all?
No. I've never been on a blind date in general.
Ever? I think I have once. It was a group date though, so it was my friends trying to set me up with their friend, and I didn't necessarily want to go, but I said yes.
Yeah.
And like she was cool or whatever, but it's just kind of like, and it's always weird to me when people like try to set you up with one of their friends because it's like, man, you don't know me. Like you don't know me at all. This is the person you trust me. We have nothing in common.
Or if it doesn't work out, then do you both feel weird?
The blind date I went on was super cool, and I may have even talked about her. I did talk about her once. It was a girl that they were my friends were like, do the British accent the whole time, and she, like,
oh yeah.
And I did it, and then she like fell in love, and then she was cool even when I stopped doing it. But she was just very aggressive. Like an aggressive person, and I was like, man, you don't know, like, I don't know, it was just weird.
Was it a turn off because
yeah.
Made
well,
it not
if I don't
easy
like
for you?
people really touching me in general,
oh,
no, I'm
gotcha.
just kidding. It was mainly a turn off because I feel that like there's a fine line between like this is gonna sound really bad, but I don't mean it to. I have to really word this carefully.
Okay.
There's a fine line between class and aggressiveness. And
yes.
I like skewing more towards the classy side of people in general.
Does classiness and hard to get, playing hard to get, are those synonymous?
No, but okay. I think everybody, and I've said this before, I think everybody, at least me, I definitely enjoy the chase sometimes more than the actual like getting to the destination.
You love the idea of getting them and not really, just the challenge.
Yeah, like sometimes it's kind of like road stories, right? So if you're driving with your friends, sometimes you have the best stories about the stuff that's happening in the car rather than when you get to the destination.
Ah, I see.
Unless you're flying cross country with Jezzer, then it's no, just kidding.
Then you get some real good stories.
No, but it's one of those things where I definitely, myself personally, I do enjoy the chase more than the destination.
That makes me sad for you because sometimes the destination is like, I mean, that's the
Jess,
goal.
It makes me sad for me too.
Like nobody's gonna want to date you after this because they're just gonna feel like they're a challenge to you, and then you'll drop them to the wayside.
Can I have another one of these? I'm gonna have to fill up. Challenges, and I think we spoke about this plentiful about people that try to change people because of challenges.
Yeah.
But I think I'm more about, I like challenges in life.
Okay.
And I feel like once something's, like I said before, we kind of relish more, like when you guys all, and this is just a question I'm going to ask, and it's a very general question. Whether it's you're studying for a test or playing in a sport or like Blackwing in a play, I feel like whenever you're practicing and the preparation for said thing is the better story than when you actually get to said thing. For example, Morphicon is a great example, and the Angel Grove prom. I have so many stories about that freaking prom, that leading up to it and all this stuff that I am always going to look back now fondly of. And I have less stories about the actual event because it's obviously shorter.
Yeah.
But there was just so much going on that it's just like, man, it's the leading
it's the
there.
Build-up,
it's the build-up. It's like a movie, right? Sometimes you see a great movie and then you get to the climax of the movie and you're like, oh, that was it?
Yeah.
So.
No, I get that. I totally get that.
Like he was dead the whole time? No, I'm just kidding.
I love that movie.
I do love that movie.
I really do.
That movie could not exist in this day and age, though, because like the internet exists. Like I feel like it would have been spoiled like day one.
Yeah, it would have been.
We're talking about The Sixth Sense, by the way.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it would have gotten spoiled. Nah, I mean Tully.
Oh, good call. But Tully
Spoiler.
wasn't as popular, I feel.
No.
Tully's
that wasn't
a great movie, though. I wish everybody would see that movie.
That one took me a minute. I don't consider myself a dumb person, but after that movie, it took me a minute to really evaluate what's going on because I did not realize it was her. I had to do a Google search because whatever, that's a different story.
I realized it, but I didn't know that like that kind of stress actually existed. I didn't know that was a real thing.
Yeah, like I was battling because part of me was like, oh, it's got to be in her head, and the other part of me was like, I mean, that could be like maybe this is just a friendship story.
Like, this is a very artsy,
right,
an artsy story about raising kids.
They're very close, letting her have sex with her husband. Great.
Yeah, that part too. I was like, wow, this is a really progressive family.
Right.
All right, let's get back to the subject. Actually, go watch Tully. That's a great.
Or don't because we gave it away.
Yeah. Let's talk about if you are in a social setting of like a school, because I feel like we have some younger audience viewers here. And if you're walking day to day, somebody like Layla, somebody like Jonathan.
Cool. So college or high school?
College or high school.
Okay.
and especially now, talk to me about the approach of that social setting, because that's one that even if you do get rejected, it does kind of stick with you because you still go to the same school.
Yeah, you got to look at them every day.
Yeah, so it's a different approach.
It is a different approach, but I also feel like those types of situations or circumstances allow you to have more easier time interactions. Easier time interacting. Meaning, if you're in high school, you go to football games, there's pep rallies,
Dances.
there's lunch where you all congregate together, there's dances, there's other games, basketball games, there's sports, there's clubs. So I do feel like it kind of pushes you into meeting more people more quickly. College is a little different because everyone's kind of doing their own thing. But in terms of approaching people, I mean, my go-to when I was in high school, I'm not suggesting this, but
I mean,
I would like tell my friend. It was kind of like tell him that I like him, but it was like, hey, play my wing woman.
I used to do the same thing.
I was like, play my wing woman. Just ask his friend if he would ever be interested in me, and then we'll go from there. So I would play that card a lot. Call me immature, but I was just
I think
listen.
you know what? It's funny that you say that because I feel like that is that's a go-to in high school. That's what you got to do.
Because it's all a web anyways, so you're gonna get your answer. And sometimes it was a yes, sometimes it was no. If I knew it was a no, great. I avoided that entire process of trying to get to know somebody.
Can I get the Joe's words of wisdom up real quick? So I do have some words of wisdom about young people that are in high school or college.
Great.
Number one, enjoy it. And I'm going to tell you why.
Please.
I feel that, like, I'm the first to tell you that I was happy that high school was over and was happy that college was over. But looking back now, you really do miss those experiences. But not only do you miss those experiences, they actually do set you up for whatever it is it's called the real world. And what I mean by that is I remember telling one of my teachers in college, like, why are we doing homework? Like, I have enough classes and I have enough to do. Like, it makes no sense why you would burn me out doing stuff additional for this class. And we didn't have homework. But now that I live in a world where I'm an adult, sometimes, a lot of the times, every night I take my work home with me. And I don't have a job that's 9 to 5. I work all the time, and that follows me every single day, everywhere I go. And I think it teaches you the disciplines. It sets you up for the lessons that are definitely going to pay off later on down the line. But not just that, and in college especially, enjoy it, because I will say this: besides doing #show, college was the best time of my life. I did so many things and went to so many places, and got in so much trouble. Calculated trouble, but learned so many lessons from getting into trouble some of the stories I have.
I hated college.
I loved college.
Ugh.
Like, let me tell you guys a little.
If you guys don't like college, I empathize. I was not a fan. Everyone's like, the best years of my life. I was very unhappy.
You went to Kent State though, right?
I did, and Cincinnati first. So I know it's not colleges. It's Jess. It's a Jess problem, not a college problem.
So for me, well, let's analyze this. I'm curious about this. So, what kind of college student were you? Were you just the person that just wanted to get your shit done and leave?
That, and I had a lot on my plate, and so I didn't have that time to go wild and free. I did that when I was in LA in my early 20s.
So you did it after college?
After. So that was the best times because I was like, woo! But in
LA,
college,
see, I went to college here in LA. So
yeah,
it's a lot different. But not just that. I'll be the first to tell you, I wasn't the guy going to pep rallies and football games at the time. I was the guy that was in a frat, and I was the guy that was going to. I was in the guy that was going to Mexico every Wednesday with my frat brothers, and
college is way different out here than it was.
Sleeping, I would go to Mexico every
Ohio.
Wednesday. It was called college night on Wednesday, or maybe Thursday nights, college nights. Stay at our other frat house at UCI because I went to USC, which is about an hour away, and then go back the next morning to USC. So, by the way, before I went to USC, I went to LMU, and I got a 1.4 GPA. And my dad told me, actually, I was on academic probation, and I had to have a talk with the dean. And my dad was like, "Why am I wasting all this money for you to go to college?" And I said, "I don't want to go to this college anymore. I want to go to another school that I actually want to go to." And then he was like, "Fine." And I transferred out, and I went to USC.
Did you graduate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I graduated. It took me an extra year because I had to pretty much make up the year I lost. I was a super senior. Because I had to make up the year I lost, but I did graduate. And I'll never forget my college experience. To this day, I'm still very close friends with a lot of my college friends.
Yeah. I have college friends. Like, I had a good time. Like, don't get me wrong, there was good moments, but as a whole, I just remember college being really stressful, and I like didn't enjoy frat parties. I remember being like, it smells in this basement. This beer tastes gross.
Yeah, I started
This
with the
is
low
stu-
GPA. My GPA ended up being a
Right.
3.4.
Okay.
I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
I just was lazy. Listen, when you go from senior year, and by the way, my senior year I coasted through because it was so easy.
Yeah.
But when you go from your senior year to just wanting to party, it's gonna be like, yeah, I'm not gonna, and you don't have to go to class.
Yeah.
You kidding me? I didn't go to
Bye.
class, right?
Yeah.
Like, bye. Like I was just hanging out every day. But I loved college. It was fun. But I agree with you. But now working in the entertainment industry, that's a whole nother level of fun. But it's a whole nother level of politics.
It's politics, and you have to be a lot more responsible.
Let's get back to the subject.
Yes.
That matters.
Okay,
right?
so
And
yeah.
we really veered away. But we
did.
were talking about how to approach people, whether at high school or college. What do you think is the best approach? Is it using your friends to kind of supplement your motives?
I think in high school, yeah, I don't find the big deal in that, because it does. You're young, and it kind of does save you the embarrassment, if you will, of going up and asking. But I didn't have the balls when I was in high school, so just take this from somebody who was shy and kind of didn't have a lot of confidence, pure confidence. But I think even like going up to people, it depends on where you're at. If you're at a pep rally, yeah, try to scoot over to where they're at in the bleachers and then start a conversation that way. Like when they win and you guys all stand up and you like high five everybody, high five that person that you, because you're all together and you're kind of closer, and then you can sort of start a conversation. Even if you're like, hey, I'm gonna go grab some food. You guys want anything? And then look at your crush and you're like, do you want anything? I'm gonna go. And if they're like, yeah, sure. Do you mind? It's like, sure. Do you want to come with me? Or yeah, what do you want? Stuff like that. It's like the high school version of buying you a drink.
What kind of place did you have socially in high school? Like, were you the cheerleader? Were you kind of like with the kid? Were you like everybody's friend? Like, what kind of group did you hang out with in high school?
I was on swim team, so I had a lot of my swim team friends. I had a core group of girls. We kind of like were pocketed and like had a little bit of friends everywhere. We didn't like enemies. I didn't like having enemies, and there was no reason to. So, but I would say we were just like we were the good kids. We tried at school, didn't always succeed. My one friend was on soccer. I don't think I would say. I mean, I don't know.
Another super chat.
Maybe, I don't know.
Larry.
I just didn't have a lot of enemies, and I liked the people that I was
How
surrounded
about
by.
now? Do you think you have a lot of enemies now? Do you think?
You know what? I don't know my enemies, so I'm gonna go with no.
Really?
But maybe. I'm sure I do. They don't say it to my face, which is something I prefer.
I can't imagine you having enemies. It just doesn't.
There's a few from back home. I'm sure I have. Yeah.
Really? That I feel like there's a boy involved in there somewhere.
There is.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I made some poor choices when I was younger. That happened.
Larry gave us a super chat and he says, frat parties will fuck you up with beer pong and keg headstands. I used to do keg stands all the time.
Yeah.
Coming from Missouri State University alumni, I loved college. Can I just stress out?
I've had good moments at college. I'm just saying I wasn't a college girl. But
I'm not the beer pong guy. I was okay at beer pong. We used to play beer pong a lot when we first started hashtag. But
you get better as you get more drunk.
I'm actually a flip cup champion though.
I love flip cup.
See, we were gonna do a drinking Olympic. Oh man. There was a convention we were. This is a fun story. I like just telling stories. We're gonna
I know.
Story time with that.
I do like
hashtag
high
show.
school better though. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, those were the glory days.
It was. I mean, look, in high school, I always think about this, like, because there was one time I was hanging out with a group of people from hashtag show. It might have been HFC actually, Dan. We all went to dinner or lunch or something, and the guy pulled us aside and was like, he looked at the eclectic group of people and he said, "How do all of you know each other?" Because it's kind of like.
We are eclectic.
It's such a bizarre, mixed group of people that just get along well, though.
Yeah.
It just works.
We work, yeah.
But I always find that interesting, mainly because it does work. But I was going somewhere with that, and I don't remember where. Oh, but in high school. So people have pockets of group. And I always think sometimes to myself, I wonder if I would have been friends with these people in high school.
Ah.
Because, high school's very cliquey, and it's very, like, it's a different social atmosphere.
I think yes.
I would have been. I was a very. If
I like you now,
person.
I would have liked you then.
Well, I was a very social person, so
Right.
I think, but I could tell like I can tell certain people have come out of their shells since high school,
Yep.
but I can tell who I would have gotten along with like right away if we all were in high school.
Okay.
Like
Who would have that been?
I would have gotten along with you. I would
Yeah.
have gotten along with. I think me and Jezzer would have been really close.
Yeah.
Obviously, I did get along with Daniel in high school, but I think for the most part, I would have gotten along with most of everybody.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there's certain people that I just probably would have probably not have had interactions with because we've never crossed paths.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, give me a high school or a college story where you approached somebody in a group.
Where we were sober.
Yeah. Or like, what would your advice be to like the college or high school?
College was a lot different because it was just.
Yeah, you can find study partners. You can.
Well,
ask
because
them to
college almost
lunch,
forces you
can-
to be social, because of
Yeah.
the certain kind of like the way that they gave you assignments.
Yeah.
I felt like you almost had to
Like group assignments.
not just group assignments, but like if you missed a class, you'd have to get notes from somebody else,
Yeah.
and then like they'd have to fill you in on something.
Yeah.
Or like
Even the way the campus is set up.
yeah,
so
like
you're
the
all
quad, like if you're
around,
eating
yeah.
somewhere, like it's very easy just to pick up a conversation with anybody and talk to them.
Yeah.
With high school though, it was a lot easier though because you already have your set group of friends. For
Yeah.
the most part, they came from elementary school. In my case, they didn't
So
actually.
clicky, so it's a
Yeah.
little bit trickier. Yeah.
So I think that for me, the best approach, or something I'll just talk about a story. So, did you in high school? Did you guys have kind of like social events, like a getting to know you social event with like your class?
In high school?
Yeah.
No, because we all went to school together since we were in kindergarten.
So I went to a private school when I started high school,
Ah.
and for all of us freshmen, we had like a social kind of mixer for like the first day.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So if you didn't know anybody, it got you to know other people.
It's like an orientation for
It was
college.
exactly what it was, an
Yeah.
orientation, and that kind of informed a lot of the ways that I made decisions going forward. But with high school, my approach, or even in college, my approach was always to find somebody I was attracted to, make sure
Yeah.
I got their number just in case that they didn't come to class and they needed a nobody.
So how did you say that? Like, hey, in case
Well,
you
did you
need-
ever take a class where like, hey, you might want to partner up with somebody just in case you like miss class, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I
They
always
encourage
figured out who
that.
I was going to partner up with because of where I sat.
Oh. Yeah, and college is easy too because there's that, and then even like think about when you're in the cafeteria, the hub, right, where you have your card where you can swipe it, and you have a meal plan, and you're sitting there and you're in line because our college had like separate like pizzas here, Einstein's bagels here. And you're in line, and you can even do one of those things where you turn around, see somebody cute or see somebody you like, and just be like, what do you usually get here? I've never
Yeah.
been here. And if she's like, it's McDonald's, you've never had McDonald's, you could be like, nope. No, but just say things like that, like, hey, what's good? Like, you can just kind of start, like, benign conversations, because then you can kind of tell, if somebody's starting a conversation with you that's a little benign, you may be able to tell, like,
Yeah,
they're into me, they're maybe not.
social filler.
Social filler.
It's just a filler conversation to get to the meat of the whatever you're trying to get to.
Exactly. Then you can talk about your major. Then you can talk about maybe you guys share a class, a lecture that you didn't even know about. Then same thing. You can lead into like, well, hey, listen, I never miss class, so
And
if you want to
also-
take my number down.
Something that maybe I don't know if Jessica did or not, but take advantage of the things that are going on at your school. So like I went to USC, so we would always have like little film, like mini film festivals at USC.
Yeah.
So you can always invite somebody there, or we would have it just started when I got to that school. They would have this little video game program. I wasn't into video games at the time, but it would be cool to just to tour what all the tech classes were kind of working on.
That's sweet.
Had little art shows and stuff like that. So
Yeah, we
there
had
was-
little like music things. We
Yeah.
had a concert. We had Third Eye Blind came to Kent State. Let me tell you,
Do you know Third Eye Blind song?
biggest Third Eye Blind.
I'm gonna say a
fan.
line from a song. You're gonna finish. You ready?
Okay, maybe not the biggest, but I
Ready?
love them so much. Okay. Semi Charmed Life.
No, I was gonna say, I wish you
Jumper.
would step back. That is, you go. You actually do know Third Eye Blind.
Love them. So yes, take advantage of those. And like we were saying, the biggest thing with I think approaching a group, like almost everything, the root of dating is confidence. Even if you're faking it, fake it till you make it. Because if you don't really care about yourself, then why should I? If that makes sense. Like even hygiene.
Hygiene's
Make sure you're taking
100%.
care of yourself. I don't think we really need to get into this real quick because hygiene is so important. I'm not saying you have to look a certain way. I'm just saying you have to smell and take care of yourself. Smell a certain way, meaning just make sure you're showered.
Fingernails have to be clean.
Fingernails are clean and cut. If you are a gentleman, that's preferred. If you play guitar, let them know that up front.
If you do cocaine, only the pinky, that's fine.
Only the pinky, that's fine. You can have one crack nail. That's it. But yeah, because just take pride in yourself. It's not even that. It's nothing about being shallow. This is the first impression, and smell and sight are two big sensory factors that are going to play into this. So, for me, that hygiene is very important. Like I said, you don't have to look good and have expensive cologne. I just want to know you showered and you care about yourself a little bit. That's all.
Because if you can't care about yourself, that makes me feel like you can't care about another person.
Exactly.
Or at least to that kind of level. And I think that's hygiene is it's one of those, it's such an underrated thing that I think that people don't focus in on, because it's one of those things where you shouldn't have to say it, but it is a big deal.
Yeah.
Because also, no matter how attractive a person is, but if hygienically, if something's off, it's like, yeah, that's
well, it's
bad
basically
news,
saying,
bro.
yeah, if you don't have time or if you don't care enough to take care of yourself, same thing. Why should I care about you if you don't care about you?
Yes.
Like, even if listen, I don't shower that often. I don't wash my hair that often, actually. So, if I'm a grease ball at home, totally fine. But if I go out and I know, especially when I was single, just shower. That's all I gotta say. Wash your hair, shower, put on some
Unless
deodorant.
you're trying to break up with somebody, perfectly fine.
Don't shower if you're doing that.
I do have a question, though, for you, because I think that you mentioned something that was very, very, very good. You said, fake it till you make it, get your confidence up. I think that confidence, nothing is more attractive than somebody with confidence.
Yeah.
But there is a fine line between cockiness and confidence.
Truth.
And I feel that, cockiness is, depending on who you are, it does not work for a lot of people. Because it comes off as very arrogant.
Yeah, I don't think cockiness is attractive really on anyone, unless you know that person and you know they're just...
Like joking around or whatever it may be.
Yeah, exactly. Or being overconfident because you know they're struggling right now or they're afraid about something. But yeah, no, I would just... It's hard to explain how to be confident without being cocky.
It's a fine line. It's just don't let things go to your head. And
don't talk about you the whole time. Because
yeah,
when
you know what?
When you're trying to get to know somebody and you're cocky, we get it. You love yourself. That's awesome. I love that you love you. But, like, do you want to get to know me too? If so, ask those questions. How about you? Oh, blah, 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 blah. How about you?
In a romantic setting, I actually hate talking about myself.
Some people do, some people don't.
I feel that, like...
It's not awkward. It's just like, how much do you want to divulge? What do you really want to know? Is it a loaded question? Things like that. But really, as long as it's give and take, you're learning about each other and you're not coming across like, oh, I'm so great. All I want to talk about is me.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about confident. Head up. Like, you're not looking down. Your body language isn't, retracted in, and you're just, like I said, fake it till you make it. I'm not saying you have to be confident. I'm saying fake the confidence because it will get easier.
Hey,
and looking people in the eye. And...
Matthew has a question for us.
Hi, Matthew.
You should definitely get to know your date, but is it possible to ask too many questions and seem like it could be a weird interview?
I think if it's a flowing conversation, by flowing I mean yes, it can be weird if you're just like a journalist rattling off interview questions. Sure. If you have a laundry list that's like, how many siblings do you have? What's your favorite color? Where are you from? What do you do for work? What do you like to do for fun? Yes, but just make it flowy. You can ask the questions that are most important to you. So, you could be like, are you close with your family? And you guys could get into a conversation about family. And they're going to most likely say, what about you? Are you close with your family? Blah, blah, blah. Or if your values are, I'm really ambitious. Here's my goals. Like, do you have a dream? Do you have goals? Like, what's your goal? Like, getting to know the root of somebody. And then it kind of flows back and forth. So I do think it's just there's no such thing as too many questions. It's just the way you do it. If you guys are having a really good 4-hour conversation, you're going to answer a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But it just depends how you go about it. So I would just say make it more flowy. Stay on a topic if it's interesting to you both. See how that goes.
But also having those long conversations with somebody helps you gain confidence in your speaking ability to anybody else.
Yeah.
Because if you're comfortable with talking to somebody that you don't necessarily know to the point where you're opening up about things that you wouldn't think you would, it's going to give you the confidence to talk about surface level things with people you absolutely don't know.
Absolutely. And there's also nothing wrong with rehearsing. So to get over that approach.
What do you mean by that? Like
So-
looking in a mirror?
No, but or maybe that approach anxiety where you're just like, yeah, but what am I gonna say? I used to practice in front of a mirror if I'm
Really?
Yeah, like before an interview or before. I mean, usually I was drinking, so I was like, I'm not gonna practice anything.
What
'Cause
do you
don't
mean
know
an
when you're
interview?
gonna be.
Oh, like a job interview?
Yeah, like anytime there's something that potentially means something to you, like a job interview, or in your case, if you're just you know you're going out and you're not really a social butterfly, so this is a big step. You're stepping out of your comfort zone. I don't think there's anything wrong with a little dress rehearsal. So maybe while you're getting ready, you're like, you know, like you see in the movies when people are like, oh, you know, how are you? My name's Jess, blah, blah, blah. Or you can just practice asking the important questions. Or you can just be like, oh, you know, I really like your shirt. Like, that is, I'm a huge fan as well. Did you see the new episode where blah, blah, blah? You know, things like that where you're kind of just practicing.
But don't be fake about it, because if
Don't
you
be
get called
fake.
out, like saying that you know something that you don't, you can easily get called out, and then you're going to look like a fool if you actually don't know it.
But you know, in your mind, you kind of it's mental preparation. You're mentally prepared.
You're laughing because you know what I'm talking about very
What
specifically.
did Daniel say?
Who am I talking about very specifically? Go ahead. He doesn't want to say it.
Oh, can you say it? No, okay, don't.
I'm talking about Daniel Jerome in Battlestar Galactica. He had no idea what it is, but made his whole moniker Battlestar Galactica. To his credit, he's watching it now, but I'm just saying.
Oh, it was punny. You know.
Speaking of Battlestar Galactica, you can get his shirt right here in our T Public store, along with our other cool shirts. We have a new design that's going to be coming out hopefully this weekend. I actually think it's going to be coming out next weekend, to be honest with you. But I'm hoping it's done this weekend.
those are
If
sweet.
so, you can get it this Saturday on the Ranger Wrap-Up. Speaking of the Ranger Wrap-Up,
Those are cool shirts.
all you Power Ranger fans that are here, I went off on a rant over the weekend about Power Rangers, about how... was
Like
kind
on
of
Twitter?
No, on our show.
Oh yeah.
Kind of about a lot of the things that they were doing, and I wanted to apologize to the people at Hasbro for absolutely nothing. Here's the thing. So we are going to have big news this Saturday on an episode that's coming up. If you want to check that out, I suggest doing so because you guys are going to love it. But any final thoughts on this?
I just love that you give 0 fucks. You are out of fucks to give. You are run dry.
You know what?
Your fuckery box is empty. And I want to be that way too, so that's why I got excited.
Here's the reason why, though. I feel that, like, you know, I respect each and every, regardless if I agree with them or not. And most times I do, but I respect each and every person that takes the time out to actually watch us and interact with us. Because not only do I look at them as fans, I actually look at them as a community of people that I actually know. Mm-hmm. And I've never met somebody like Layla, and I've only met Blackwing Jonathan once. But I look at them as just important as anybody else that's here.
Yep.
So, and if they didn't like something we were doing, they let us know. And if they let us know, and if a lot of them felt the same way, guess what we would do? We would change it in order to give you something that you actually wanted. And I feel like with certain properties like that, where a lot of people, not just people that watch us, but people around the world that watch that, they take a vested interest into something and they pay money for certain products and nothing changes. And I think that that's literally stealing money from people over the guise of promising things that never happen. And for me, I don't want to get too into my personal feelings about corporate things, corporate America. But I do want to say that in terms of a community, and if you can. This is, I mean, I don't know, make this political, but it harkens back to decision making and something like the election. And this is not meant to be a political rant, and it is not. But if you go and vote for something, and you win, and you don't get what you voted for, then of course you're going to lose faith in the system.
Yeah.
I don't want people to lose faith in us. And my promise is always going to be that, like, we want to do things that are fun for us personally, but also fun for you guys to actually watch and interact with. And that's the one thing. Because just as much as her and I are talking about giving advice from our past failures and successes of relationships, we're learning from you guys as well. Because guess what? Jessica and I are not in high school. Layla is. So we're learning.
And times have changed.
Times have changed.
It's gotten harder, in my opinion.
So I feel that like with everything that goes on, especially in the country, the one thing that we can always kind of agree on is that at the very least we might not agree on our beliefs on whether it be Power Rangers or politics or whatever, but we can all agree that we're all doing something for a greater good. And I think that that's just me standing on a soapbox preaching. But
I like that speech.
thank you. But I was I took a very clear stance with how I felt about a certain situation, and you're right. Like I don't care. I care about the fans, and I want to put pressure on the people that are making content that people actually are watching, and holding them responsible, and making sure that they hold their feet to the fire.
That I appreciate.
Yeah.
And I'm sure our fans do too.
But no, I think that you're pretty outspoken. Ish.
You're
not a pushover.
No, I'm not a pushover.
I mean, what happens when people don't do dishes?
People. I'm still getting over that people-pleasing stage. I'm trying to speak my truth more directly and clearly. I'm trying not to be so passive-aggressive. These are all things I'm working on. I've gotten better. Moving to LA has really helped me, and being independent and far away from family and stepping out of my comfort zone has really helped me. But I still give too many shits. So as soon as I can break that little bit, the chains that bind me, I'll be good.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
A lot of my anxiety stems from that, like what other people are going to think.
About you?
Just in general, projects I'm working on, passion projects, the way I present myself on social media. What if I'm not doing enough on social media? What if that's the reason why I don't get successful? What if I don't get successful? But it's just an endless loop of BS that doesn't matter. But
Larry says the more you know. He super chats. The more you know.
The more you know? What?
The more you know. Like do.
The more you know.
Look,
Larry, you're killing it with the super chat.
Here's what I do think about you specifically. I think that you obviously have a very charismatic X factor to you, and I think that
this is very vulnerable, Joe. I'm getting uncomfortable.
Why?
No, just kidding.
No, you have a very good way about you. I'm not the only one that sees it. They see it as well. I feel that anybody that moves here with and look, a lot of people respect you because you did move here with a very specific goal set, and I think that it took a lot of courage just to do that. A lot of people wouldn't just do that.
Yeah.
And not only that, but a lot of people wouldn't still be here. I think that I've seen people come and go.
Yeah, there's been a lot of small victories, but like you said, it's easier to focus on what you did wrong or what didn't work out versus what did work out. And if you really rack your brain, there's a lot more you did that is good than bad.
You know what? I'll say this all the time, and I will always say this. I am a person that will 100% tell you that I'm not one of those guys that are going to say I don't have any regrets. I absolutely do. But at the same time with that, I 100% know that every single one of my failures, for as shitty as they were, they taught me a very valuable lesson. Mm-hmm. And if I make that same mistake again, that one's on me.
Right.
But the first one, that one's on life teaching me that. Mm-hmm. And I needed to learn that. And certain lessons that we just have, I think that they are such strong character builders. I'll be honest with you. If I was sitting across from somebody and their life was perfect, it'd probably be the most boring person I'd ever met in my life. Because
True.
I feel like it's harder for me to relate to somebody that never had a struggle.
Right.
And I think that if you have a struggle, whether this relates back to this show, whether it's trying to find your perfect match, I will say this: a lot of people are in such a rush to find their perfect match. And what I've learned is when you rush certain things like that, you get the worst results.
And usually they come from unfulfilled expectations. You have expectations that you're going to be this place, married at this time, having kids at this time, or, whatever. But I think if losing those expectations, and they always say it's when you're not looking for it, that's when it happens. That has been my experience through and through. The minute I stop caring to my core is the minute good things start happening.
Really?
Yeah. Because I don't know if it's because you're just energetically letting things flow, you're surrendering, or you just don't care. So then things are easier coming to you when you feel easy in life.
People usually get involved in relationships when they're not looking for them.
Always.
It always happens.
For me.
For me too.
And the ones I've forced or pushed were the ones that were not the best, that taught me the most lessons. So Yeah, I would say forget about the expectations. Do what you love. Surrender to the idea that life's going to happen on life's terms, and it will surprise you, both good and bad. But
Jonathan says, Jess, you're someone someone that I see is willing to help others. You know what you stand, where you stand, and you are someone that has family and THS family to always keep you uplifted, even the man upstairs.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate you. I really do.
Jess Matthews Thompson says, Jess, you rock, and I know that that all your friends, myself included, know that you're gonna make it huge.
Well, thank you so much.
It's a fact.
But listen, I so appreciate that, but everybody's got their insecurities. I'm just working on mine. That's the stuff I'm working on.
Hey, but sometimes you kind of need those to keep you grounded. I feel like I was just
and it's good. It's good to be self-aware and to grow, but
I was just reading something about
but thank you guys. I love you.
I think it was about like Justin Timberlake actually, about how him and a few of those guys said that they were never gonna let fame get to them, and about how they made a pact. Now, right, regardless if that happened or not, I don't know.
Like in sync in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
They made a pact that like to stay out of the bullshit and just kind of like do their thing, and regardless if people hated them or loved them, just do what they love doing because the work would speak for itself.
He did a good job doing that.
And he
never been
transitioned so well. Yeah, he did, and he's not super into the spotlight. Like maybe early on in his career when he was with Britney Spears, he was publicized a lot. But then once
even then, he wasn't busted and doing that. Like he never got caught doing half the stuff that a lot of Hollywood's been caught with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he stayed out of the limelight. He's a good dad. And Drew Barrymore too. She's another one that
Layla says, even I'm still getting to know Jess. I see her as a big sister figure I've always wanted and needed.
Oh. Hang on. Oh my god.
What are you doing?
I'm crying.
You're not crying.
No, that is so sweet, for real. I really appreciate that. I love you guys. This is so much fun for me. It really is. I enjoy coming here and doing this show. This is my favorite thing I've done.
Hey, follow you East Coasters. Happy Halloween.
Oh, is it official?
It's the witching hour.
Does anybody do anything on Wednesday?
I'm gonna do something tonight as soon as we leave here.
What are you doing?
I'm not gonna tell anybody, but it's something that I've always wanted to do that I'm gonna do by myself.
Are you?
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna fucking tell everybody.
Yeah, what is it?
I'm gonna drive to the Halloween house because it's in Pasadena, and I just found out it's in Pasadena. I'm gonna go check it out. Yeah.
Does somebody live there?
No, I think so, but I just want to go drive by it and just kind of be like.
In front of it, in a box.
He lives in a box in front of it. Yeah.
I'm like, are you gonna have a sleepover
But it's
with Josh
I'm excited to see it because like it's the perfect movie. I love the. Did you see the new one yet?
Not yet.
It's good. Gotta
Not
check
yet.
it out. But I love how Halloween. I love this time of year. I love the way the weather. Like
Yeah, it smells. It smells different.
Well, here in the South Bay, and then Daniel
Love
Nagami can attest to this because you're out here with me. But here in the South Bay, it's been foggy. It's been like the perfect Halloween weather. It's been super foggy, and it's like gets me into the mood of Halloween.
Have you seen Hereditary yet?
Did you like it?
Yeah, but it bothered me.
Why? Because it's disturbing?
Because it was so disturbing.
Yeah.
And I love it, and it shook me to my core, but it stuck with me for like 3 weeks.
You should see Silencio.
Oh, yeah, you were saying that. Is it the same?
Well, first and foremost, you should see Searching. Have you seen that yet?
No, not yet.
God damn it, Jessica.
Where? Okay, but I use streaming services like Netflix.
It came out in theaters.
I know, but I haven't gone to the movies in so long.
Searching is amazing. It's. Do you know who John Cho is?
No, but I saw
From
the trailer.
Harold and Kumar?
Oh, yeah.
He's Harold, but he's the Asian guy. So it's about his family. Oh, this is my pitch for Searching. I actually hope it does really well. Have you seen it, Dan? Have you seen it, Josh?
You've been talking about this for months, so it must be good.
Dude, it's so good. Here's a little Searching thing.
Oh.
So it's about this guy that has a family. Oh, and the first 10 minutes of the movie is like Up, by the way.
Okay.
It's
so
like
tears.
it's like by Up, but then his daughter goes missing, and he just thinks that, oh, like she just didn't come home. Maybe she's sleeping in a friend's house. Then he comes to find out, like, after it's all. And by the way, there's no traditional camera shots. All of it's through a webcam or through a phone camera.
Yeah.
It's all like from a first-person
That's
perspective.
really smart.
And I love the fact that they do that. But not only that, but then he starts finding out things about his daughter was friends with somebody on the internet, and like what that person was trying to do on the internet, and like diving deep into that, like breaking into this stuff.
Like how you really don't know.
How you don't really know what your kids are doing on the internet.
That's so creepy.
And he starts discovering all this stuff, and it gets to a point where it's like watching, like living. You almost feel like you're a voyeur watching this
like
this
fly
dad
on the
fall.
wall.
Yeah, fly on the wall, watching this dad fall apart.
Oh, that's.
Oh, see, Matthew Thompson. My
Matthew
mom
Thompson.
loved Searching. I haven't seen
my
it. It's
gosh.
so good. But Silencio starts off kind of slow. The pacing is slow. But once you understand what the movie's about, it picks up and you're like, it's super intriguing.
And it's half in Spanish, half English?
Kinda.
Okay.
Kinda. But it's a good movie. But Searching, I highly recommend.
I do want to see that.
Oh, it's
You
so
didn't tell
good.
us the ending, though, right?
I don't want to ruin
Okay.
any twists for anybody.
Cool.
But it's good. It's
All right.
very good.
I gotta check it out.
Guys, enjoy your Halloween. I want to thank you guys so much for letting us rant to you guys. What are we going to talk about next week? We haven't figured that out yet.
Oh,
You got a subject you want?
not that I could think of. We did red flags. We did.
You guys have a subject in the chat. Let us know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what's a good one. You put me on the spot and my brain's blank.
How about... Let me think.
Okay, the progression. You're talking.
We did first date.
We did first date. We did.
How about when it's time to...
I was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say the same thing.
Go ahead, say it then.
When it's time to get weird, to knock boots, do the
Yeah,
horizontal bop.
When you know when the time is right. We're just calling it when the time is right.
That's a.
When the time is
Juicy.
right, and also in the adverse of that, when the time is wrong. So
Yeah.
you'll know too. We're gonna talk to you about those experiences. But again, happy Halloween! Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Happy Halloween. Be
we
safe.
Really appreciate it. We really do. We're not back tomorrow for Riverdale because it's not a new episode. However, I hear the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is amazing, and I know that when they get back on Riverdale, they're going to be talking about that as well. So Daniel and Tatiana are off this week. However, Thursday, you can catch us on Superhero News Network. Johnny, myself, and Tatiana are going to be breaking down the latest superhero stuff. And then, like I said before, if you're into horror, we're going to be talking about some of the creepiest places on Earth, along with cast interviews from the movie Silencio. So that's going to be on the
Cool.
horror episode this week. Jezzer and Ro, we're going to be on that, bringing it to you live. On Facebook, though. So Horror and Beyond and also that hashtag show, that's going to be on Facebook. But we can't wait to talk about that stuff. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. Jessica, where can everyone find you on social media?
Thank you, guys. You can find me at Jess_Heidenreich, and for the few times a year I'm on Twitter, J_Bojangles.
And you can find me at that hashtag Joe. And like I said, if for all you Ranger fans, on Saturday, I got some big Power Ranger news. I'm hoping that we get it all done by Saturday, but it should be pretty cool for you guys. But thank you so much. Happy Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. But also, when you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, that alert icon that tells you that we have new videos coming out. That'll help you guys out a lot, too. And check out our website at thathashtagshow.com. But click that like, share, and subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending
In geek pop culture.
We'll see you next week.
Be safe. Have fun. Bye.